Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, let me see. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for being here first. Greatly appreciated. As evident by the melodic sound of my cowbell. All right. And Rodney Jackson is here. Novi D. CK is here. Emerald Derek. Judy Mutaset. Maurice Brown. Mary H. And Lydia Washington. Novi D. Nolando Niandini. D. Carol Lunn. Joyce Anderson, and a host of friends and others like Carlene Beckford and Maurice Brown and Tato Mangina. Is it Tato Mangina? All right. Okay. And more. Very good. All right. So, our royals are being quite scandalous. Well, I found that updated version of the article that I was looking for. Well, the reason why there's such a sudden fuss, I suppose, is because I failed to mention that there was a book. There's a book coming out, and oh my goodness, this author is, I don't know, he just got it in for Andrew and Fergie. Thing is, one of those weekend shows, I don't log on their thing, but there's one of the squaddies who adds the more interesting portion of the shows. And that awful man, I don't even want to say his name, but he was trying to steer the guests into claiming that there were certain people that are more controversial than others in the royal family. And the guy was like, I'm sorry to be the party pooper, sorry to be the odd man out, but no, the more notorious two people is Andrew and Fergie. Fergie, and I'm so sorry to say this because, again, I really do like Fergie, but she's still up to her old ways. And she has been through so much. And the guy was like, yeah, but she's like nationally, she's a survivor and she always falls down and she gets back up. And he's like, no, no, no. She's not the person that you think she is. And I'm like, oh man, I am really sorry about that because Fergie has been so loyal to Diana's memory. No matter what her shortcomings and no matter who encourages her to say something foul, she just won't do it. And okay, aside from everything else that has been said and done, the fact that the only real friend in that institution that Diana could rely upon was Fergie. Fergie was the only friend that she had in that institution. It was like she had a renewed feeling of hope when Fergie came along. Diana married into that institution. A billion people watched the wedding. And there are some people who, I guess you could just say that when you are brought into an institution like that and you have, let's say, people all over the world looking to you to be a fairy tale, you just don't want to let them down, especially 19, 20-year-old Diana. She, could you imagine everyone saying, oh, it's a fairy tale? And even selling you on the idea that you're exceptional and you have what everybody else wants. It's got to be very painful to think, wow, I have to let all these people down by walking away from this marriage, by leaving this marriage, by exposing the truth about this institution. That's not what she wanted. She wanted to use that platform for sure to help people, but also she tried to measure up and be everything to everybody. But that institution is very dangerous for someone's mental health. And Fergie was the only friend that Diana had in that institution. It certainly wasn't a butler. We can see how friendly the butler has been. The butler hasn't done anything but help himself. It certainly wasn't Charles. Of course, you want to say, yeah, she could depend on her children, but children are not supposed to fulfill that role. That's an adult's position. So all she had was her children. The only friend she had was Fergie. And Fergie didn't last long. So um, even up to a month or two before Diana died, Fergie was telling the truth and sticking to the truth as she lived it. So I don't take any pleasure in saying these things about Fergie, but she has, I don't know. I'm just like, God, did you not learn anything the first time? Judy Matassit, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member and being here tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, that is a great point. Fergie was alone too. Her husband Andrew was absent. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. At early into the marriage, Fergie was left twisting in the wind. So, and that this played out in front of the world. You would think that somebody would have been like there to intervene and say, they're not doing well. They're not doing well. We need to help them be successful in this institution. And there was no one there for them. Everybody was worried about the annual list of occasions, or how much work they've done. Everyone is concerned about how much money can I milk out of this system. They did not help them be successful. They didn't help them survive. They just pretty much cut them off from the world, and even up into the point that Meghan came along, they give you these impossible, not the task. I won't say the tasks are impossible, because we know Meghan aced that out. easily. But they raise these expectations and then even flat out lie and accuse you of violating protocols that in some cases didn't even exist. It didn't even exist. And then when the press attacks you, the only thing they can think of is, well, we've been through it. We've all been through it. Don't take on the press. We've all been through it. Well, that's no excuse. I mean, come on, people lived through Jim Crow, but you shouldn't relax and say, oh, well, it's just Jim Crow. We've lived through it before. My parents lived through it. We'll all have to live through it. No, we don't. You put a stop to it. There's no reason why there must be this hazing and initiation into something like the royal family. Put a stop to it. But no, they don't. They just they don't care. They just don't care. Anyway, um, I think the inevitability that they will survive no matter what happens, and that the press will help them spin their way out of it. There's no necessity to do better. There's really no necessity to do better because whatever happens, the institution continues. That's it. They what they call the most threatened period of the royal family after Diana died mysteriously in that tunnel in Paris. That was supposed to be as close as they came to the end of the monarchy, and I disagree with that. I disagree with that. They survived it. They survived it. There was no referendum that came out of it. There was no movement whatsoever to get rid of the royal family. The thing about the monarchy is that, unlike an elected leader, no matter how much Charles messes up, no matter how much William does, in people's minds, royalists, monarchists, then they look to George. Well, George is going to do things differently. And I'm just like thinking to myself, will you live long enough to see George on the throne? You're not even going to be here. How do you know what George is going to do? But that's it. They just pass it off to the next generation or the one after that. I have no doubt that the monarchy will survive. What kind of monarchy is, that's the question. Okay, let's continue here. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Kwanzaa, um, and all the other holidays this time of year. But I love this tree. It's just so simple and beautiful. That is a beautiful Christmas tree. It's nothing fussy about it. And of course, this is an AI digitally created scene for Christmas. Um, I I've actually borrowed this from one of those music video things, the ones that go on for 3, 4, sometimes 12 hours, and they just play Christmas music. But if you try those on the YouTube, they are great, especially if you're cooking or just relaxing. Put it on that big screen television. And then, of course, there's the crackling fire, there's the snowflakes falling outside. I love that. It just makes me wish I had a much larger television. Then I could pretend like my windows are that big. But it must look great if you have like one of those supersized televisions and you can put that on the screen. But yeah, it's a nice way to relax in the background. So do try that. Now, the daughter of the American Revolution herself, Carolyn Graham, anytime you see an article and you see Carolyn Graham, she is awful. She's awful. Um, as far as I know, she was born in the South. And Carolyn Graham, she is the one who spent a lot of time with, wait for it, yes, Thomas Markle, the dad, the donor. Revealed how Meghan's friend Omid Scobie is masterminding a very unflattering royal TV drama where a feisty feminist triumphs over fuddy-duddy courtiers, and now TV insiders are all saying the same thing. Well, as you know, I just made a video about that, about Omid Scobie's television series. Now, whether or not it's going to be a lighthearted comedy, dark comedy, or they're saying that it should kind of bring you the fish out of water type of, oh, Emily in Paris, uh, an American reporter. I think she a reporter. Well, anyway, I think she becomes like a spin doctor, like she works for the palace. This is the premise of it. There's a book called Royal Spin, and the television show or series is going to have the same name. And so someone like Emily in Paris brings her American ideas, like if I have a good idea, I would email it at 5 a.m. And whenever you get a chance to look at it, you can look at it. But I just want to get this thought out there before I forget or whatever. Well, that is very American to just send that email. But apparently, the people at the Kensington Palace took exception to that. They don't want you putting things in their emails at odd hours, right? Now, I have an email for Royal Sussex that I check once or twice a month, not deliberately, but I check it on occasion. And well, anyway, I don't check it that often, but I do from time to time. Um, some people, of course, if it's work related, they will check their email first thing in the morning or as soon as they get to work. That is very much an American thing. I'm pretty sure they do it any place. It's not a big deal, but they made it a big deal because of the anti American sentiment at the Kensington Palace. And of course, the hostility from Will and Kate because of their jealousy of Harry and Meghan. I do believe that the Cambridges at the time did everything they could to poison the employees of Kensington Palace against the Sussexes. I believe there was a bit of back and forth between, one household and the other household. Having the two households together was not working because they were holding Harry and Meghan back. There was no goal for them to be successful. Considering how lazy the Cambridges are and how they were working at almost a glacial pace, Harry and Meghan were looking forward to the work. They were looking forward to the work. And you just could not be as effective if you have to wait for a lazy person to get up off of their behinds and do what they're going to do first. And then if there's time, then you can shine, right? That was not going to work. So that's why they had to separate the households because there was too much friction. Carolyn Graham, obviously, but what's interesting though? Now, I made that video, right? That article came out in the middle of the summer. It was not a new article. I spoke about it then. And as far as I know, I'm pretty much the only person that's been talking about this lately. Just out of the blue, I made the video. And then just out of the blue, she writes this that production is not nearly ready to premiere. So just out of the blue, probably after watching Royal Sussex, then she writes this column just out of nowhere. It's not like the thing is ready to premiere. It might be another year before it comes out. I mean, this from the summer until now, that's not really enough time to develop a series. So why did she get the idea to write this article? I'm telling you guys, I hate to say it, but I do think a lot of those people, they look at the Sussex squad and just try to figure out things that they can write about. So I do a little video. Now she's attacking Scobie. And look at the image of Meghan that they chose for this article, as though Meghan is calculating and scheming, and Scobie is trying to be sneaky with his dark sunglasses, like nobody will know who he is. Ooh, grow up. Let's see, Baron. Some of the squad said they cannot see an option to join. The link does not work for them. Any suggestions to share? I don't. I navigating the menu can be very difficult. Sometimes I cannot find what I'm looking for. My suggestion is when you go through anyone's homepage or menu, yeah, that, oh gosh, all right. So membership. All right, the way I bring it up, I suppose it looks different because I'm the one that, sees the page like this. I don't know. Maybe if, okay, now there we go. I just did. Now, what did I do? How did I do that? I do apologize. It can be a bit iffy to do the memberships, but I tell you what, I'm going to try this link. I'm going to put this link at the top of the chat. And okay, I'll put that link at the top of the chat. And maybe I'll just try to remember this, do this every time I start. And also, I will put this link on the community tab so that you all can hopefully access it like that. But yeah, I have trouble myself from time to time when I try to find things on the menu. So I could imagine what a pain it must be. Okay. Okay, so that's what I'll do. I'm going to take that same link and I'm going to put it in the community tab right now. Okay. Yes, I do believe that one should work. So I hope it does. Yeah. All right. I hope that works because it can be a bit of a nuisance to try to find things, especially if there's been any recent changes to the okay. I'm just going to put link for membership. Okay. I'll keep it simple from now. And then I'll try to do something more obvious, but I've just put that on the community tab and also it's at the top of the chat. Thank you all so much. And thank you, Lydia Washington, for the super chat. And Leg says, notice they have to Photoshop Meghan's image. Journalism? Not quite journalism. It is just schoolyard bullies that fancy themselves journalists. But yeah, they have been manipulating Meghan's image here and there. And that is not cool. That is not cool. They really should not do that. Yeah, I don't like it either. But thank you so much for the super chat. And let's see. Well, thank you, Jeanette Ford. Thank you so much for becoming a new member of Royal Sussex. A new member, yes. And remember, the memberships start at just $4.99 for the price of a cup of coffee. You can join as a member of Royal Sussex, which I am going to do a members only video. Perhaps I'm thinking the 3rd of January. It is going to be very raw and very honest because, it's for members. So, um, hopefully, I'll be able to do that and open up for people to speak. And yeah, we're going to see how it goes. And maybe we can do that, again, if it works out. So I have in mind what I'm going to, talk about. So, but yeah, if you can't be there, I will try to do it much earlier in the day. So that more people will be able to participate. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So thank you very much for the new membership. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, CK just became a new member. Thank you so much. Wow, 2 new members on the same day. Thank you. Lex says, notice how they keep trying to brand Omid as Meghan's friend. Yes, you can't help but notice it. When court documents highlight that they are not, have to get Meghan's name thrown in there for clicks. Yes. They also referred to him as the Sussex's mouthpiece, which describes just about every royal reporter. I refer to the Royal Rota as a standing army for the institution, for the royal family. They have their own standing army, and they dispatch their army anytime they need to spin something, especially the revisionist history. They are masterful at doing that. They have quite the skill when it comes to bending the truth. And with the 24-hour news cycle, with several, look at this, you guys. One of the, oh gosh, I forget which one that is. One of those, I think it's the one that Richard Eden and Rebecca English and a couple of other people, I don't know. They just celebrated some milestone with their YouTube channel. And the lady that is the host or moderator for the group, she says, when we first started, people ask, is there really that much to talk about every week? Well, we all know the reason why there's so much to talk about. It's because of Harry and Meghan. It's just like cooking gourmet food. Quite often, the recipe calls for olive oil, 2 tablespoons of Harry and Meghan, and you got a gourmet dish. All roads lead to Rome, right? Well, you look at the map of the royal landscape, and at some point, those roads are going to take you right back to Harry and Meghan. That's why there's so much to talk about. Without the Sussexes, the royal reporters don't really have anything because the family is so boring. And we're going to get to how much the royals have worked in the past year. Not much. At least half of them have done very, very little. So what is there to talk about? You have to look to Montecito for a story. If the Sussexes hadn't gone to Nigeria and Colombia and all the other stuff that they've done, And you've seen those headlines where they use the black background and the big white letters. I promise you, if you were to count those for each member or each couple of the royal family, Harry and Meghan by far have had the majority. You could probably combine all the rest, and still the majority of them would have come from the Sussexes. And we all know why. Because the rest of them are boring. Thank you, Legs. So there is Mount St. Thomas Markle. In a wide ranging interview with Carolyn Graham near his home in Mexico, Mr. Markle reveals an anguish he feels at the thought of never seeing his daughter again. And deliberately, they neglect to mention the fact that he doesn't see most of his family. The only people that he sees are the others who have managed to scratch out some form of a living thanks to the nasty, awful things that they say about their own flesh and blood. You have three people who, in some cases, do not even have access to their own children. You have three people who otherwise would live in obscurity, but for the fact that Harry and Meghan met, fell in love, and was married. Otherwise, the retired lighting director would be just that. Instead of this very bizarre, um, overstuffed sofa that has nothing nice to say about his own daughter. He doesn't even see the other grandkids, but he is fixated on the idea that he needs to see Lily and Archie. And he's even said from his own mouth, "Wow, you just bring a cat and we'll take a picture and and we'll get to meet and we'll take a picture." Did you really let slip what your full intention was? Not so much to meet the children as much as it is to take the photo. But take the photo for whom? Probably the same person that is laying across your tummy right now. Secrets of Meghan's letter revealed. Note to her father saying her heart has been broken into a million pieces. Reveals she is a narcissist showman, showman, whose self-control is wavering, says handwriting expert. Well, how did they get the letter? You literally gave a private letter from your daughter to the press. Meghan is very disciplined that she has not responded to any of this stuff. She wrote the letter realizing what was likely to happen. She knows her father. He didn't just get this way because Harry is his son in law. This has been his set point for years. And so playing patty cakes with the enemy doesn't surprise anyone. This is awful that you just glance at him and all you see is trouble. Let me tell that story one more time. I said before the wedding that I wish that her father wasn't the one to walk her down the aisle. And someone asked me why. As a matter of fact, I said it to a few people. I said, he just seems like trouble. And in my own little fantasy, I'm like, wouldn't it be nice if Barack Obama walked her down the aisle? Anybody, but not him. Why not? I just don't think he's right. Part of it was calculating. I'm doing the math. You have not met Harry, and You're living down in Mexico. Nothing wrong with living in Mexico, but it just seems strange to me that this former lighting director became an expat near the border. My spirit said it seems like he's running from something, right? And it's expensive in California. Who wouldn't want to escape that? But I didn't feel that. I just did not think he was right. I could not understand why he had not met Harry. And lo and behold, my instincts served me well. That was before all of the stuff with the pictures and everything. Just looking at him, and it's like looking at the ghost of Foster Brooks. If you're old enough, you are familiar with Foster Brooks. He was a character actor. He used to do all the variety shows and such. And Foster Brooks was perpetually drunk, scruffy beard and all. And so I took a measure of him, and I thought, oh my God, that's not going to be good. How could I have known? How could I have known? And there he is with someone who seems to me as, and I don't know that she is a racist, but I'm just going to allege she appears as racist as could be. A real daughter of Dixie, standing in front of a flag that represents quite a few things that is wrong with, you know, the South. The whole idea of Southern pride. Like, look at that statue right there. You would think that that statue was forged after the Civil War. Most of those statues came along around the 19 teens and the 1920s. After that movie, Birth of the Nation, which spawned so much racism, lynchings, and such, the South was blanketed with these statues to invoke a spirit of Southern pride. Guess what? You lost the war. And you want to celebrate the people that was actually trying to destroy the Union? Make that make sense. And that is where she's posing for a photo. If that doesn't tell you that that is a MAGA, a Brexit person, what else do you need? Representation matters. She, the daughter of the American Revolution, I don't know that she is. I'm just saying that because usually they're kind of right wing. But let's just say the daughter of Dixie has taken so much time to write about a woman of African American descent and never anything nice or polite. She gets the letter. They find a so called handwriting expert who has come to the conclusion, based on her handwriting, that she must be manipulative and a narcissist. Have you done the same thing for the rest of the family? Have you even done the same thing for white people? Or is that something that you save for someone of African descent only? I think it's the latter. Reveal the letter showing blah, blah, blah. As we know now, it was not legal under British law for them to share that letter. And they only shared portions of the letter that reinforced a hostility against Meghan. They didn't even reveal the entire letter. But when there's a letter from the UK, the copyright of that letter belongs to the person who wrote it. Even though Meghan wrote the letter, in order to try to thwart any lawsuit, Jason Knopf says, oh, It was my idea to write her father, and guess what? I helped her write the letter. Jason Knopf needed to help Meghan write a letter. Meghan, who has been writing letters as long as she could write her name, since she was able to write her name. Meghan, the serial letter writer, someone who was a calligrapher in the past, you're helping her tell her story. Someone who's wrote op-eds, someone who had 3 million followers on Instagram, but she needs some little opportunist from Texas to help her write a letter. I don't think so. You need help. She doesn't need your help. And so once Meghan's lawyers got involved, guess what? All of a sudden, he didn't help her. Once Meghan's lawyers got involved, all of a sudden, he wasn't the helper. He had nothing to do with it. He dropped that claim. But so strong is their determination to help that institution, no matter what, that they would be willing to lie about whatever is necessary, whether the institution is right or wrong. They're going to say whatever they need to do to protect that institution so that they can maintain their proximity to power. Meghan didn't stand a chance over there. They never wanted her to succeed. They didn't want the Sussexes to succeed. They didn't want Harry to succeed. They just wanted him to work. And they didn't want Meghan to succeed because that would remind the rest of that institution exactly how mediocre they are. And that could never be. So anytime you see the name Carolyn Graham, just know that it's going to be very biased. It's going to feel a bit racist. Again, I don't know that she is a racist. I'm just alleging that her material seems a little white supremacist, a little white nationalist to me. I'm just going to say that. It seems to slant in that direction. But because we don't know her and she's not here to defend herself, then it wouldn't be right to assume that she's racist. So, all right. Looks like we have a happy birthday, Janice Goodrich. Happy birthday, Janice Goodrich, and many happy returns of the day. So we're going to do a little dance before we go to the next topic. We will do a salsa for Janice Goodrich birthday. But first, Janice, a little kiss from Auntie. A little kiss from Auntie Angela. Auntie Angie got a little kiss for you. There you go. Smooch, smooch. There you go. One more time. All right. Big smooch for Janice Goodrich from little smooch for you for your birthday. All right. Wasn't that sweet? One more? There you go. There you go. Wipe that lipstick off your face. All right. And now the salsa. Okay. Uh-oh, there we go. There you go. Happy birthday. Oh, let me see here. Lex says, oh, let me get that thing off of there. Harry and Meghan are the ones that got away. Harry got away because of Meghan. The others didn't. Margaret, Prince William, oh, the one that died in the plane crash, and Edward and Sophie and Fergie. Yeah, Fergie didn't get far, did she? And Edward and Sophie, who had ambition for a career, neither one of them were able to break free of the institution, especially Edward. Edward had goals and such, but they did not mean for him to be successful. Isn't that something? They were able to bring Camilla's odd looking son into the Daily Mail and make him some kind of food critic and such. But who knows how much they were plotting against Edward so that he could never be successful. I don't know. They did not want him. They don't want anyone to leave that institution. Thank you, Legs. They really do not want you to leave that institution. It's just like the mob. They mean for you to stay. You don't just leave. Okay. Speaking of Fergie, take a look there. Fergie and Zara paid hundreds of thousands by Hong Kong tycoon with links to China, shady foreign influence network. Now, as I said, this is a more up to date. This guy has been seen with, there he is, with, what's his name? Cameron. There he is with Zara, Fergie, and what's his name? The Prime Minister, David something. No, David Cameron. What is the other guy's name up there? God, I forget that is his name. I know Sheen played him in The Queen. Tony, Tony, Tony Morris. No, Tony Blair. There we go. Tony Blair. Yeah, Tony Blair. So there he is, peddling his influence with the likes of Tony Blair, Fergie, David Cameron, and Zara Tindall. And Zara and Fergie, hundreds of thousands of pounds? What did they do for hundreds of thousands of pounds? And how come Carolyn Graham is not writing this article? Oh, I forgot. They're not black. That's right. Okay. That explains it. Andy spy row. Andrew's Chinese spy scandal threatens to bring down royal family. It's more damaging than Epstein, says biographer. So the biographer, which I'll show you very soon, this guy says that this is huge. This is huge. And obviously, they're trying, when I say they, the institution is obviously trying to cover for something else. What I guess, I don't know, slumlordism or tax dodging, something. But they want Fergie and Andrew to suffer. And I'm not pleading their innocence. I'm just fascinated that this is such a big story. I mean, there's a book coming out. So let's just say that there is a book coming out. All right.
Friends, drip, drip, drip. As is almost always the case with Andrew, the press released the damaging headline and drip, 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 more damaging facts in the weeks and days afterwards. And this is certainly the case between Andrew and this alleged Chinese spy that Andrew was hanging around with for a decade. Because it turns out there's a few things that we didn't know originally, but now we do. Number one, Andrew promised this person spy intimate access to the inner workings of the royal family. And it appears that Andrew did give that to the guy in exchange for what we will never know, because that alleged Chinese spy is now threatening to dish the dirt. And the press know exactly what he's going to dish, because the press know more than we do. And the press are saying it's going to be worse than Andrew's connection to Epstein. Andrew never learns. Where has he taken this guy? What does this guy now understand? How loud, like a canary, is this guy gonna sing? Charles, I'm no fan of Charles, as you know, guys, but this guy, Andrew, must be driving Charles absolutely mad. Is this going to bring down the royal family in 2025? Is it going to force a reset, a reevaluation of their cost versus benefit? High cost, low benefit. Comments are open, guys. Let me know what you think. Morning, friends. Drip, drip, drip. As is almost always the case with Andrew, the press released the damaging headline, and drip, drip, drip. More damaging facts in the weeks and days afterwards.
Okay. So, like I said, the guy says this is the worst. Now that what's his name, Tom Wilkinson, he was trying to convince the author of the book to say that, well, to just declare that Andrew and Harry are the worst. He said no, it's Andrew and Fergie. Fergie has been busy. Fergie has been very busy. Fixer who bankrolled royals, they're they're the lucrative deals some of our prominent royals like Zara Tindall would rather you didn't know about. Cash for connections bought by wealthy Hong Kong socialite. Hong Kong tycoon hired Queen's granddaughter Zara. Now, this is 2019. Zara and the Duchess of York for influence. No wonder Zara can't stop smiling. No wonder she can't stop smiling. Hundreds of thousands? You notice that she started dressing better. Did you all notice that? It did seem like, and what does Zara do for a living? What does she do for a living? And all of a sudden, it's like her numbers came through. Well, she did get some numbers, but it wasn't a lottery. So yeah, I cannot wait. I didn't think I would want to read that book, but I do, because I want to know what the dirt is. Because they say it is going to be huge. So we'll see. I mean, take a look there. Look at Zara. Like, isn't that the cat that ate the canary? You see a little yellow feather coming out the corner of her mouth? She just smiling and grinning. She could not believe her luck. She hit the jackpot. So what else is there to do? She and Mike Tyndall, I guess they ordered champagne. But that, I was wondering, why was she traveling at 91 miles an hour? She couldn't wait to get that check in the bank. She wanted to hurry up and start cashing those checks before he changed his mind. She literally peeled out. I bet you the car was spinning and spinning before them back tires finally gripped the road, and she took off. I got to get to the bank before they close. I got 100,000 pounds. Mike, meet me at the bank. I just got another 100,000 pounds. Yeah, that explains it. I was just like, it's the global pandemic. There is no traffic. Why are you in such a hurry? She want to cash them checks. She never had it so good. I couldn't understand why she was smiling so much. Now it makes sense. And Fergie Have you all seen the way Fergie's been dressing lately? Fergie has gone couture. Fergie had so much money, she lost weight without a diet. She lost weight because she wanted to fit all those nice clothes. I mean, Fergie has turned it all the way up. And now it makes sense. I couldn't understand how she got that townhouse. She bought a townhouse in Wayfair or Mayfair, wherever it was. Where'd she get the money from? Hong Kong. Are you serious? Did you not think anybody would notice? That explains how Mike Tyndall got his nose straightened out. All of a sudden, Mike Tyndall's nose was straightened out. Now, I thought it was because he went to a program, but no, it was because of that money, allegedly. Now, you know you got some good money coming in if your nose all of a sudden straightens out. Your nose is straight. Your wife is wearing all these nice clothes all of a sudden. Auntie Fergie has never looked so good. Fergie was getting so much money, the weight just fell off. Zara Tyndall's secret £100,000 a year deal with tycoon, millionaire bankrolled royals. By the way, thank you, Muriel, for finding these. Bankrolls, Queen's granddaughter. Wait, bankrolls, royals. Bankrolled royals, including paying Queen's granddaughter for horse racing advice. She gave horse racing advice and a £72,000 annual retainer to the Duchess of York. So Zara the tongue ring Tyndall, Zara, who drives an average speed of 91 miles an hour just to go to the bank. Now we know why. You are paying her, what is it, £100,000 a year for horse racing advice? If you want advice on horses, why are you talking to Zara? If you want advice on horses, talk to the horse. Talk to a horse. Don't go to Zara. Talk to the horse. What are you doing talking to Zara? If you want advice on a computer, you go to a computer specialist. If you want advice on exercise, you go to a fitness trainer. If you want advice on horses, talk to the horse. Get your priorities right. Revealed, partner of controversial Hong Kong tycoon who acts as royal fixer offers British golden visas for £2 million? So let's see. Royal fixer offers British. And so a golden visa to where? And that was what, 2020? Dr. Johnny Hahn links to the Duchess of York and Zara. How come we didn't notice this? I mean, this has been around for a while. That's 2020. Oh, I know they were too busy going after Harry and Meghan. February 2020, yeah. We were preoccupied with Harry and Meghan. Emerged businessman paid hundreds of thousands for pawns for their services. I'm sorry, hundreds, not pounds, pounds. What am I saying? Dr. Hahn's partner runs company that helps foreigners arrange golden visas to the UK. Oh, okay. Because I'm like, who's spending hundreds of thousands of pounds to go to China? They let anybody over there. Oh, you know what? I need to put this on a bigger screen so I can see what's there. That's too small for me. Hold on. I got this. I got this. There we go. That's much better. Is it? Yeah. Dr. Han runs a company that helps foreigners arrange. Okay, partner of controversial Hong Kong tycoon with close links to the royal family. Partner. Are they talking about Fergie? Helping rich Asians gain residency in Britain. The Mail on Sunday can reveal. Okay. And then take a look on the right. There's Dr. Han with Duchess Doolittle. Well, now she's Lazy Katie, but at the time, Duchess Doolittle. Well, listen, I'm sure that Dr. Han speaks perfect English. Um, I'm sure that he can understand everyone just fine. And to show you what an adept, well, if he is a spy, we don't know that to be true. He has even learned to speak Middleton. He has learned to have conversations with Kate Middleton. And trust me, that's not easy. If he is a spy, he was in it to win it. Either that or he's just pretending. Hey, Heather Straub, thank you so much for being here. And look at there, no support available for Harry and Meghan. Lots available for financial and otherwise for Andrew, the sick old man. Palace to support Andrew in rebuilding his life as pariah prince makes surprise return to public duty. Now, this was, oh gosh, 2022. After the queen died, all of a sudden, it seemed like they were going to use that period after the queen's death to try to bring him in from the cold, right? Palace sources confirm to the Sunday Times, Prince Andrew at Garter Day is the royals' recognition that the task of starting to support him as he begins to rebuild life in a different direction is underway. They were trying, at least they were pretending, they were trying to get him back in the fold. And there was even like talk of him doing some royal duty. Prince Andrew dubbed an absolute fool as proceeds from his 18 million pound chalet sale frozen. Andrew had an 18 million pound Swiss chalet. Where did Andrew get money for an 18 million pound Swiss chalet? He literally had a royal residence in Switzerland. It was huge. It looked like a resort. And down there at the bottom, it says on Monday, Prince Andrew will join Prince Charles and Prince William in welcoming Camilla into Team Andrew, otherwise known as the Order of the Garter. The sartorical website, what is that? UK, jokingly described this as an order of chivalry. And over there, you can see Beatrice pleads with Charles to give her father a job. She was begging Charles to get a job for her father. So in 2022, they were trying to bring him back. And they were doing it in incremental ways so that the public, would be able to slowly digest it. I think if you could make Camilla the queen consort, then it was never impossible for Andrew. But after this book, I'm going to say his goose is cooked. After this book, I don't think that I don't think he has a chance. Anyway, let me say a little something about the book. If I can find it. Okay, there it is. So Fergie and Zara paid hundreds of thousands by Hong Kong tycoon, a tycoon who paid Sarah Ferguson and Zara Tindall hundreds of thousands of pounds is linked to China's shadowy foreign influence network. And that is going to be in the Mail on Sunday. A well known figure in society circles, Dr. Johnny Hahn, who is 53 years old, attended the wedding of Prince Andrew's daughter, Beatrice, and has been photographed with a string of politicians, including Tony Blair, David Cameron. Sarah Ferguson received £300,000 from a firm chaired by wealthy businessman, while Zara Tindall signed up to advise him for around 100,000 pounds a year in 2017. But the newspaper has uncovered Dr. Han's ties to organizations that experts say are part of the Chinese Communist Party secretive campaign to wield influence abroad. It comes after it was revealed that a close confidant of the Duke of York was an alleged Chinese spy who has been banned from entering the United Kingdom after an investigation by MI5. Suspected spook Yang Tingbo formed an unusual degree of trust with Andrew, according to bombshell court papers, and attended events at Buckingham Palace and Windsor. The scandal rocked the royal family and led to Andrew being branded one of Beijing's useful idiots. It also threw a spotlight on a myriad of groups tasked with so-called United Front work, which has been described by President Xi Jinping as a magic weapon, and I cannot say that. Maybe I should just call him Winnie the Pooh. By President Winnie the Pooh, which intelligence experts say included foreign interference. So let's see. What is that one? The Mail on Sunday can reveal, they got MOS. The Mail on Sunday can reveal that for more than a decade, Dr. Han has been a member of the Chinese People Political Consultative Conference, known as the CPPCC, in Haozhong province, blah, 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 blah. While the FBI has said it enforces the rules and regulations of the Communist Party abroad. So I don't see why they're calling him a spy. Travels the world pushing China's interests. Okay, so what? This year, visiting both Belarus and Russia, where he posed next to a bust of Lenin. So what? Acted as a fixer for a brutal North Korea regime. And he's doing his job. He's doing his job. It's kind of difficult to be in China and not be a part of the Communist Party if you're a person of means. And of course, he is just doing the work for, I don't know. I don't get why if they can show where he has actually somehow attained information that he should not have obtained, like military stuff, then I'll say, okay. But otherwise, it just looks like he's been paying for access. And the royal family should not be available for the highest bidder like that. They're wrong. I don't know that he's done anything wrong, but Zara getting hundreds of thousands of pounds from a Chinese official, that does seem kind of sketchy. He worked as a fixer for North Korea. despot Kim Jong Un. Now, that could be problematic. If he's been doing work for Kim Jong Un, then that could be a problem. But otherwise, it just looks like he's been bribing his way into situations. How could it be that MI5 and MI6, how could it be that they didn't know about this guy? Why now? Why does it take a book for this to be a problem? Why does it take a book for this to be a problem? They should have been talking about this for a long time. Oh, that was Eugenie's wedding? Oh, I thought it was Epstein that went to Eugenie's. Oh, okay. Well, let me see here. What do we got over here? Fergie will be invited to spend. Oh yeah. So look at there. Fergie will be invited to spend Christmas with the royal family for the first time since she split from Andrew 30 years ago. Sarah is set to spend holiday at Sandringham, meaning she could go on a traditional walk to church with Charles. You see, this is what's so crazy is they're trying to get Andrew back to work. They're bringing Fergie back. Everything's, becoming like one big happy family. And now, because of this book, and which, by the way, this is why Fergie is not going to Christmas. It wasn't just because of Andrew, her solidarity to Andrew. It's because, in the eyes of that author, she's just as guilty as he is. So anyway, there's the author. His name is Andrew Lonnie. And by the way, he hates the Sussexes. He's no friend of the Sussexes. And I don't trust him. I don't trust him. But listen.
So you're busy writing this book on Sarah and Andrew. And I know you can't tell me really anything yet.
You'll be the first. You'll be the first when the book comes out.
But just in general terms, do you think that there is anything in there that will make the public just be amazed and aghast at what you're reading?
I hope so. I hope so. Yes. No, I think my wife's read it, and I think she was quite shocked by some of the things I found. And I'm finding new things. I mean, things with international repercussions. I mean, it's not just pushing people into swimming pools. It's quite serious international matters of diplomacy. So yeah, I think people will be very shocked about some of the revelations about them, and I think their reputations will be changed. I hope.
Well,
so you're busy writing.
You see what I mean? According to him, Andrew and Fergie have been up to no good, and that people are going to be completely shocked by what they see. And I'm just like, what could be so terrible? What could be so terrible? Let me see. I guess. I mean, I don't know how that stuff works. Oh, you guys are just full of gossip today. I love it. I love it. And TCC's son says King Charles failed them financially. Prince Harry was shopping at discount stores. Fergie got $2 million in the divorce, but $1.4 million was put in trust for the girls. Fergie got $15,000 a year. She had to work for college and wedding. They need funds. You know what, TCC's son? By the way, thank you so much for the super chat and so many other things that you have been very generous about. There's a lot of money in that institution. They bring in a lot of money. And I was actually feeling today a certain way about that. That Andrew and Fergie have to resort to some pretty shady things to maintain a certain standard of living As long as Andrew is part of that family, he deserves his piece of the pie just because. And as for Fergie, Fergie is still the Duchess of York. She's no longer an HRH, but she is the mother of two royal princesses. So even though I have my feelings about that institution and about the family now, I it should not have to come to the point where their wedding was paid by their parents. The queen at the time should have just paid for everything. She should have paid for everything. The fact that they're so tight with their money with the rest of the family, um, and the queen was never as tight as what Charles is now. But there were certain times when she let the side down because she would be more generous with some and less generous with others. So yeah, there has been some shady dealing going on, but none of the people in that family should be hat in hand to get through life. That should not be. If you have those titles, and especially if you are born into that family, it doesn't make sense that one inherits $1 billion duchy when they become the Prince of Wales. The other inherits another $1 billion duchy when he becomes sovereign. And yet you nickel and dime other people in the family. Even though William was destined to become king, Harry should not have been resorting to shopping at TJ Maxx or TK Maxx. That should not have happened. So I do believe that they have been rather stingy, if you want to use that word, with some members of the family. And yet, Edward and Sophie, in order to get them to abandon their ideas of independence and a career, the Queen puts them up in this massive house and even gives them a very generous salary so that they would stop thinking about doing other stuff. Now, I believe they meant for Andrew to make money. Otherwise, why would you put him in the position of a trade envoy? What was he supposed to be doing as a trade envoy? If there is opportunities available there, do you really expect him not to take advantage of it? So I don't think he needed a chalet in Switzerland, but he definitely deserves whatever portion of that family wealth equal to what other members of the family get. Now, if he squandered that money, that's on him. But I don't know how they're set up individually. It seems like Princess Anne was well taken care of. It seems like Edward and Fergie were well taken care of. But Andrew, I don't know. I don't know. Part of me thinks they were living above their means, but otherwise, there was no salary for Fergie. Fergie clearly should have had a salary even after divorce. She should have still received an annual or monthly stipend for her expenses. She is the mother of two royal princesses. So I'm definitely Team Fergie where that's concerned. Andrew, I don't know. He seems like he lives above his means, but still, he's a royal prince. He's a royal prince. And while we're on the topic, as a royal prince, Harry, the son of a head of state, should not have to pay for his security. I don't care where he is. He should not have to pay for his security. There should not have even been a conversation about it. The only reason why it became a thing is because of Kensington Palace. It should not even be a discussion. And Mark Dolan, the one that they just fired from GB News, even though he has been awful with Meghan. He said that nothing should ever happen to the Sussexes and that their security should be paid for, especially when they're in the UK. If anything ever happens, it will be on the royal family's head. He said that. Now, not exactly in the same words. So, yeah, some of these things, I think that they use a bit of heavy handedness with members of the family so that they can look strong and decisive, and so that the rest of the public is not paying attention to how much money they have or the lack of taxes they pay. So they definitely have used Andrew as the whipping boy. It does not take away from the things that he has been accused of, especially as far as his time with Epstein. But maybe if they would have kept him a little closer, maybe that would have never happened. Thank you for your comment, TCC son. But they do need funds to live. Send the pickup Kate in her chair. You remember that, huh? Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh man, you remember that, the Chairman Mao top, and tell them you found another spy. Thank you for that. We know her Photoshop is off brand from Temu. Oh man, points to you for remembering Chairman Mao. Now you're going to make me look for that. You know you're going to make me look for that. You shouldn't have said it. Now I got to find it. The Kate Middleton Chairman Mao uniform. Oh man. I can't believe you remember that. Let me see here. Wait, how do you spell Mao? Yeah, that's how I spelled it. Let me try it again. Oh man, that is too funny. Oh, I cannot find it. What was I thinking? Oh well, I will. I promise you, I will have that for tomorrow. I will have that one for tomorrow. That was when they went to Boston, right? And they had got off the plane, and Kate and Willie. Kate did not have her glam squad on the plane with her, or something like that. And oh man, that was funny. I wish I could find that. No bueno. I cannot find it. But that was fun. Chairman Mao. Okay. Let me get back on the grind here. I love it. Thank you so much for that. All right. Let me see here. Where did Andrew get 18 million for a Swiss chalet? He did introduce those you know, you guys, like I said, I don't know if Andrew is very responsible with money, but I agree that if you're in that family, you need certain amounts of funds to exist. You should not have to shop at discount stores and hat in hand. Not that they're above that, but still, um, you shouldn't have to look like the needy while the greedy is all polished and shined up. Elsa De Beers, thank you so much. Elsa De Beer, thank you for becoming a new member of Royal Sussex. And happy Saturday, Sunday to you. I really do appreciate that. Oh, wow, another one. Balaji Anthony, thank you for becoming a new member of Royal Sussex. Wow, welcome one and all. Thank you all very much for that. I am feeling the love. So, you guys, that is Andrew Lonnie, and his book means to expose a lot of things. Now, I was accused by someone, oh gosh, when was that? The other day, of trying to legitimize Andrew. But it's not Andrew that I'm concerned about. Beatrice, Eugenie, and their children. In the same way that I was worried about the Sussex children being othered in that family. They are setting those children up for failure. They're setting those children up to be bullied. The sins of the fathers, or whatever they say, however that saying goes, those kids got to go to school. Those kids have to be around that institution. They're part of that institution. And if the only reason why this is happening is so that we can hide things that other royals are doing, so that we can distract from what the other royals are doing, then I think that's pretty crappy. I think that's pretty crappy. What Andrew has been accused of, we all know Louis Mountbatten. We all know how that entire family, especially that Louis Mountbatten generation, has either been around or tolerated or participated in those things. And so to single out Andrew and thus destroy the rest of the family, just tuck him away. Stop playing this game of he's coming back, he's not coming back. Just eliminate all hope. He's not coming back, period. He doesn't deserve to be back. And just let him go along his way. But instead, we have to evict him and we have to publicly humiliate him. And we already saw Beatrice. Was it Beatrice or Eugenie? At the church in tears because her father was walking with the queen. I just don't want to see those kids punished. I don't want to see Beatrice and Eugenie punished. And I don't want those grandkids to have to go through all of that stuff. Because especially the little ones, they don't deserve this. They really do not deserve this. And it's just the same as with the Sussexes. The idea that the tabloid media is just waiting for the day that those kids are able to be photographed, and all of the terrible things that they write about the Sussexes day after day after day. They may be 5,000 miles away, but kids can be very cruel. Kids can be very cruel. But I tell you what, I'm sure that if we had a chance to compare images of all those children, I bet you the rest of the kids in the family wasn't looking like those kids at that Christmas carol, because those kids look devastated. They look devastated. Whatever is going on in that family, those kids look devastated. Adrian says, hopefully there will be a new generation of British media by the time those kids are young adults. 3 of Murdoch's kids don't like the way the newspapers are run. Well, and you know what? That reminds me of the Rockefeller children. They had very little respect, at least, or grandchildren. They had very little respect for the way the Rockefellers had earned their money over the years. And a lot of them would not use the name Rockefeller. They did the best that they could to disassociate themselves from the Rockefeller family because they were embarrassed, because they did not approve of some of the things that the Rockefellers were accused of, building their multi-billion-dollar wealth. So yeah, I believe, Adrian Burrow, that the next generation, if they're not part of that or sympathetic to the way things were before, they will definitely take the company in a different direction, and hopefully another generation of reporters. I mean, look at James O'Brien. He said that, there was every chance that he could have been one of those people on Fleet Street, but he went a different direction. He went a very different direction from some of the other kids, because remember, those reporters, they are, they're parents. They're nephew. What do you call them? Nephew babies, nepo babies. A lot of those are second and third generation media people. Being in the media is not new to their families, but this kind of media, God, I hope it's new. Oh man, let me see. See if I can find that. Oh, I know what I'm looking for. My little graph that I show from time to time, why the media is so awful. There it is. There it is. Thank you, Adrian Burrow. There you have it right there. Socioeconomic background of journalists. This is a graph or pie chart that shows you where those people come from. So higher socioeconomic background, and then there's the lower and middle socioeconomic background. So when it comes to journalists, 84% of them come from the upper class. When it comes to the editors, 73%. And then the people from the lower and middle class, 16 and 27% respectively. So Basit Mahmood said, when a narrow section of society dominates our media landscape, it has an adverse effect on our democracy as well as our newspaper values. Which stories are told, how they are told, and what's deemed newsworthy and what isn't. I saw the damaging effects this had on my own community. So, in other words, if you come from money, you're not going to be very sympathetic to working class people. At least most won't. And if you are a daughter of Dixie, if you come from the South and you just happen to be, I don't know, Carolyn Graham, and you work for a very conservative, trashy newspaper based in the United Kingdom, and you are tasked with writing articles about a biracial woman of African descent in the United States, well, it's not hard to figure out what side you're going to come down on. We have said this a lot, that the people that write these newspaper columns, they all seem to have a certain look about them. They all seem to have a certain look. And while it's not fair to say that a person is capable of X, Y, Z, or Z because of the way they look, well, somehow it just works out that way, doesn't it? It just seems to work out that way. That a certain socioeconomic background writes certain ways. There's not a lot of diversity in those newsrooms. 84% higher socioeconomic background. They come from money, and they're mostly white. So how do they identify with an American biracial woman from California? The answer is they don't, and they don't want to. They don't mean to. They mean to perpetuate their own image. They mean to perpetuate their own image. They don't mean to be anything other than what they are. And they don't want to make room for anybody else. And that is why the past election turned out the way it did. The displacement of the power structure or the fear thereof is the reason why people vote the way they do. They vote against their own interests as long as they can vote for people they can identify with. They'll be willing to give up security, financial and otherwise. They'll be willing to give up all of the social safety nets as long as they can look in the mirror and see that the person that they voted for is more like them and less like anybody else. Avid reader, new member. Thank you so much for that. Wow, what is this? 5 new members today? 6? I've lost count, but thank you so much for that. For the price of a cup of coffee, $4.99 a month, you can help support Royal Sussex. Thank you so much for that. Gwendolyn Daniels said, oh, that's not for me, is it? All right, let me move on then. All right, I'm going to continue then. Oh, was that for me? Oh, good night, you said. All right, thank you very much for that. Oh, I got to take that away. Yeah, so take a look here. This came from the Daily Mail. Well, you can see the P word up there. I didn't want to have trouble, so I blocked part of the word. One of those, let me see, convicted murderer and a gun smuggler. With friends like these, it's no wonder the royals don't want Andrew and Fergie around for Christmas, says Andrew Lonnie. I want to believe that this person is exaggerating. We'll just have to wait for the book. But this is some very strong language to describe, Andrew and Fergie. Very strong language. And I really do worry about Sarah's mental health. I really do worry about that. This is very strong language. And let me just say, it's not very different from some of the language that's been used to describe the Sussexes, except for that P word. They have used some very malicious, awful language. They have spoken worse about Harry and Meghan than those type of people. I believe that there was like a serial killer that, what is his name? Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson said all of those awful things about Meghan. What was it, a year ago? Said all of those things about Meghan. And yet, there are people that have been in the news for doing horrific acts that he has said absolutely nothing about. There's a culture war going on. And a portion of the rationale for attacking the Sussexes and accusing them of being woke is because there is this culture war going on. A culture war that has gone after transgender people, a culture war that has gone after Black people, of course. And if you're Muslim, culture war. There's so many reasons to attack people that are quote unquote other. You other them because that hate brings people together. Like-minded, hateful people will come together if you bash this group or if you go after that group, then it brings people together. Which, what is that, an oxymoron? It doesn't make sense. It kind of contradicts, but it's the truth. That hatred brings people together. They have that common thing. They have that common thing that they can rally behind. And even though you're only going to make your own situation worse, you're only going to drive yourself crazy looking for things that are not there. Donald Trump spent 6 years before the election of 2016. He spent 6 years going after Barack Obama. And after Election Day, you don't hear him mention Obama's name at all. He got what he needed. He used hate and suspicion, panic. He othered the Obamas to get what he wanted. He doesn't hate Barack Obama. He doesn't hate Michelle Obama. He doesn't really hate anybody. He's for himself. And people are too blind to see that he's for himself. Now, he doesn't want Black people in positions of power because he's for white people. But I don't think he hates anybody. But he doesn't care if his words cause you harm. He doesn't, and I'm speaking of Donald Trump, he does not care if what he says to win causes someone to go after you or your family. As Michelle Obama said, the things that Donald Trump said made my family unsafe. And that's exactly what they're doing to Harry and Meghan. The things that they say about the Sussexes makes them unsafe. But it's not Donald Trump that's going after them. It is the British tabloid media that is constantly feeding an environment, talking points, lies to create hostility. And as Harry said, it just takes one lone actor, some mentally fragile person, or white supremacist, whatever they are. And that's why it's so dangerous. That's why these things are so dangerous. Because if those words become actionable, somebody's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get hurt. So I don't know how much of this attack on the Yorks is real. I don't know how much of it is imagined. But I do care about the kids. Really? I did not know that. I did not know that. He is a mental health project. Let me see here. That is so true, Hazel Jones. They have played everything very above board. They have done everything above board, knowing that if they have the slightest misstep, it is going to be amplified like it is the worst possible thing in the world. They have been very careful. Zero mistakes. Zero. They haven't had any financial missteps, but anything that looks weird, and the media turns it into something that it's not. Oh, there's $5 million missing. No, it wasn't missing. But that is only spoken softly. But if they think there's something wrong, they shout it from the mountaintops. Adrian says something is brewing too with Donald Trump, and they're not telling, but a lot of people are saying something is going to be exposed before January 20th. Bum, bum, bum. Stick around. We'll see. Oh, Ingrid Sowers. What is happening? Oh, we're going to pray too. We are going to pray too. Thank you for sharing that. We will be doing our praying too. Lex says, agree. She didn't want to seem a fan or a supporter, which says a lot. Someone who wants someone on her side doesn't support the other person. Otherwise, they are afraid they will be victimized. Okay. All right. Didn't Kate say therapy doesn't work for everyone? Yes. When did she say that? What's that? Oh, I don't remember when. I remember that it was something. Therapy doesn't work for every. I don't remember what that was exactly, but I do remember someone said it. I guess it was Kate. Oh, interesting. Thank you so much, Lex. So Prince Andrew files won't be released by Foreign Office until 2065. Prince Andrew's files won't be released until 2065. Andrew Lonnie, a royal biographer, claims a culture of secrecy surrounds royal correspondence. I wish that Andrew Lonnie would put as much energy into some of the other royals as he's putting into Fergie and Andrew. It looks like they're going for the weakest link. They're going to the people that are already spiritually broken, right? They're going for the low-hanging fruit. You have Charles and William accused of being slumlords. You have Charles and William profiting big time from deaths, from public services that they lease, land and mineral rights and such. There's so much more. If he's so gifted a writer, if he's so good at investigating to get to the truth, gosh, I hope he goes after some of those other people. Because I guarantee you there's plenty there. I wonder. So, brothers in the house, thank you so much for being here. Prince Andrew refusing to walk the late Queen's corgis. Really? Now that was that was just recent. He is now expecting to spend a lonely Christmas at Royal Lodge with his ex-wife. And that's Matt Wilkinson. That's that guy that was snapping those pictures of the Sussexes at the Invictus games. Remember the one that was looking all creepy sitting close to them? That's Matt Wilkinson. And then over here on the right, Andy's feeling rough, rough. Well, you know who else is not only feeling rough, but also looking rough, 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 rough. Yeah. She's not only feeling it, she's looking at. Heal, heal. Okay. Let me see. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here on Royal Sussex tonight. It's hard to stop once you start. You know what I mean? Royal Sussex. You know what, Connie Balmer? It has been very, very intense tonight with all this. So you have inspired me to bring the temperature down just a little bit. Let me see. Where is it? All right. Okay. Hope this is the right one.
Be Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This is my own feelings being expressed
The only way I know how. Yes, the only way I know how. Well, the Queen trusted Fergie with her corgis. So at least we know that the Queen trusted Fergie. I mean, she wouldn't have just left those corgis to anybody. Now, if she would have left them to Charles, he would have sold them right along with the horses. He just didn't sell the right horse. MLC became, MLC, thank you so much for becoming a member. God bless. Thank you very much. I absolutely appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for joining these memberships. Again, as low as $4.99 a month, you can help support this channel. And it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. So, good luck, Fergie. Oh, I don't know. I just I like Fergie. I do like Fergie. And but if she's been up to some things, I I can't say that I can justify it, but I guess I'm listening to the words that the that author is saying, and he's real. I mean, of course, he's got a book to sell. Let's just say that. Let's keep it 100. He has a book to sell, but he's making it seem like it is just the worst thing ever, which makes me very nervous for Fergie. No, I don't know. I don't know. I hope the best for all those children, their kids, even the Wells's kids, and especially our Lilibet and our Archie. Let's hope that that institution doesn't have a negative impact on their lives, because so far it seems to just consume everyone else, even the people that are supposed to be the winners. It seems like they're being consumed by it. All right, and of course there is just some random images of that family from over the years, and we'll see what happens. Harry and Meghan initiated bringing Fergie in from out of the cold, and it seems like she was on the path to becoming a full family member, publicly a full family member again. And now that has been derailed for some reason. Yeah, yeah. You know what, so brother, I heard someone say that in Spaces the other day, and I really do feel bad for her. I really do, because they're saying that most of Fergie's actions, it seems like she was just trying to get money for Andrew and for the girls. It seemed like she was really working hard to get money for Andrew and the girls, and to have children and grandchildren in that institution, and you don't have the means to afford the lifestyle to make them on, or to keep them, should I say, on par with the rest of the family. That's got to be a lot of pressure. So I do feel for both of them. There's got to be a lot of pressure. Lots of pressure. And people friending you because of your proximity to power. Right? So just imagine how many times the Sussexes have had to, I guess, discreetly push people away, because the opportunists, they don't care who they get. They just need to be close to that power. And the royal family is a very, very powerful institution. They have so much influence over so many things. So many wicked things are done in the name of the crown, in the name of the sovereign. And there are people who will spend hundreds of thousands or millions to get close to the center of that universe. That's a great point, Adrian. Harry has definitely worked extremely hard to break that cycle. Yep, you better say it again. So, from the outside looking in, this is what it looks like. At least it was. But now, something has just changed again. Um, just a few of Fergie's less than stellar moments. The sheikh or chic or whatever. And this guy here is a banker. She probably didn't even care for this guy, but he's a banker. And she's trying to sustain things. because she has associated herself with some shady characters. But that is another way to look at it. And TCC's son was very right. They need funds. They need funds. And sometimes we can make some huge mistakes trying to maintain. Andrew stayed secretly. I'm sorry, and one more time. Andrew secretly visited Bahrain last week. And this was back in 2022, by the way, November 2022. Last week, as personal guests of their royal family, Duke flew on Swiss billionaire's private jet and stayed at 8,600 pound hotel amid claims he is eyeing a return to public life. Now remember, 2022, you see there, after the Queen died, November, they were, trying to, well, at least he was definitely trying to get back to public life. French socialite who sued Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson over Swiss chalet is left furious as Fergie buys £5 million Mayfair flat, and it emerges Duke's payout to Geoffrey was as little as £3 million. Not the other amount that we've all been accustomed to hearing. Well, now see, that is an example. Look at how big that chalet is. That is an example of biting off more than you can chew. But, Andrew probably just wanted something. Well, they probably wanted something away from the UK. However, that makes sense, but that is a big something. VR says, you are right, Baron. That institute breeds dysfunctional members, and obtaining money to maintain that lifestyle with very limited legitimate opportunities is next to impossible given circumstances. It really is. And they have been so hypercritical of Harry and Meghan. All of the stuff that they were saying, remember, they were like, why are they taking out a patent or copyright on t-shirts, hats, gloves, toothbrushes, blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, you don't want someone else to do it in your name and cheapen your existence. And also, if you get the rights to those things, certainly you're not going to use it, but you just don't want anybody else to use it. So the spelling of Lilibeth's name is unique so that nobody is selling things in Lilibeth's name. There is a point to that. And I do believe that some of the things that they were raising their eyebrows about, Will and Kate has also done that. For things that they will never market. It's what people in the public eye have to do to protect their brand. We all have a brand. Everybody has a brand. It may not be public, it may not be spoken of, but if there's a certain way you do things, even signing your name, that's part of your brand. Or let's say you have a thumbnail and you always use big white letters with a blue background. Well, that's the Royal Sussex brand. Now, I have not copyrighted that. So as you know, there's some opportunists out there that have copied that brand. I knew I was going to work this into the conversation somehow, but there are some opportunists out there that seem to have copied that brand, hoping that they can, get people to look the other way. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So that's what I've been using as my brand. It's a constant. There are probably over 2,000 videos that has that same style of thumbnail. Now you can say there's about 2010 or 20. It's just that 10 or 20 of them is not my video. Was that too subtle? Was it overt or covert? Let me know. Was that overt or covert? I just wanted to put that out there, though. All that glitters is not gold. Remember that. All that glitters is not gold. Lindsay Peterson, thank you so much for the new membership. And thank you so much for being here at Royal Sussex. I think I love that thumbnail. I want to see how that looks. I need to expand that. And don't worry, Lindsay, I'm not going to hijack your thumbnail. I shouldn't say that because I don't want to give anybody ideas. I don't want to give anybody ideas. Oh, that is stylish. I love that. Okay. That is stylish. Now, is that you there or anyway, it's very cool. Thank you for the new membership. Okay. All right. Well, I got that out of my system. Yeah, I was like, did I make that video? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't remember making that video. That doesn't sound like me. All right. So as I said, the royal family is a very powerful institution. No better evidence than what you see right here. Amy Robach, ABC News anchor, other woman backing it up. Yay, hey. Well, Amy wanted to come out with a story some time ago about Epstein and, of course, his relationship with Andrew. That was considered newsworthy until Buckingham Palace threatened ABC to kill Epstein link. Prince Andrew's story anchor recorded as saying, well, there was a hot mic in industry language. That means somebody left a microphone going, and there was also a camera recording. And Amy seemed to be having a conversation with someone expressing her frustration that there's this great lead that she has on the story, but she is forbidden from sharing the story because the palace started throwing their weight around. You want to cover the weddings? You want to cover funerals? How about that coronation? If I were you, I wouldn't tell that story. And so that was the end of it. Plus, now don't laugh when I say this. Will and Kate they were going on a tour of North America, and they said to ABC, if you run that story, you won't have access to two of the laziest, most boring people that have ever drawn a breath. And ABC seemed to drop the ball on that one. And they were like, okay. And so they disrupted. Little did they know that Will and Kate are so boring that it's more interesting to watch paint dry. They're so boring. One would rather have a root canal than to have to watch them try to interact with people. As a matter of fact, I feel like I am being extremely unfair to both of the Cambridges or the Welleses now. And as such is my spirit of fair play that I'm going to let one of them speak on behalf of Kensington Palace. So let's reach out to Kensington Palace and see what Kate has to say about it.
Well, obviously it'd be, I would love to have met her, and she's obviously, she's an inspirational woman to look up to, obviously to this day, and, you know, going forward and things. You know, it is, you know, it's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and, you know, very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
I don't know about you all, but I'm inspired. I have not been so inspired in days. So, Charles, I don't know what his position is on all of this, but I don't know what role he has played in all of this. You cannot actually assume that he has nothing to do with it. I don't know. But it seems like it's a bit heavy-handed at this point, especially where Fergie is concerned. And like I said, I take no pleasure in this at all. But this is what they are threatening to expose or talk about. So we'll just have to wait and see. I was a little bit surprised about Zara because I knew she was, you know, doing brand deals and stuff like that, but I didn't know that she had anything to do with that person that they've accused. And for some reason, they did not include Peter Phillips. Peter Phillips was not included in that last article, and I'm not sure why. Now you're talking. Now you're talking, because it's coming. It is coming. So take a look here, you guys. How Princess Anne is still the hardest working royal. Yes, Princess Anne is still the hardest working royal. Followed by Charles III. Now, remember, part of work includes Zoom calls and other things that may overlap. Sometimes they can do 5 different things in 5 hours, things that would be considered routine, but they call it work. And the Duke of Gloucester, 126, Prince Edward, 126, and Sophie Wessex, 124. Woohoo. Wait a minute. Why didn't they call them the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh? They could have said Duke of Edinburgh and Duchess of Edinburgh. Anyways, so there's Anne, the life of the party. There's Anne making turning balloons into dogs, doing card tricks, singing the blues, and telling everybody about that day that she was knocked unconscious by a horse. She was kicked so hard that all of her Newports flew all over the place, loose squares all in the grass and everything. She was kicked so hard that she didn't even remember what happened. But they say that a horse kicked her in the head. Yeah, poor Anne. Wound up in the hospital for a few days. I wonder if they ever found that Afro pic. I wonder if they ever found her Afro pic. Ah, the Christmas Carol person is here. The Princess of Wales, pictured at a Together at Christmas Carol service at Westminster Abbey earlier this month, undertook, do you guys see that? Now that's a lot of work for her. That is a lot of work for her. Kate has undertook 11 duties this year. Wow. I am so not impressed. 11 whole duties? Well, let me see. How many can I count? Trooping the Colors, Wimbledon, and she only went to Trooping the Colors so that she can justify going to Wimbledon. The Christmas Carol, Remembrance Day, that's 4. You know, I can't think of anything else. Wow. Trooping the Colors, Remembrance Day, Wimbledon, Christmas Carol. Oh, yes, the video. Yes, her Renaissance video, her Renaissance Jesus video. Right. Oh, and the one where they were walking through the fields of grain and making out on the beach. That's 7. Oh yeah, that is an average of what? Are you talking about? Let me see. Is that for Kate? Well, I tell you what, the Queen Elizabeth II, performed more work in the lead up to her death than Kate has done for all of 2024. Can you believe that? The Queen worked more before she died than Kate has for the entirety of 2024. You know, they say that baby boomers are the greatest generation, right? You would never confuse Kate as having that type of grit and resolve as anybody. She has taken the easy way out. She uses cancer as an excuse for everything, and it's absolutely disgusting. And the tabloids have the nerves to call her brave for just showing up. They accuse people of being bullies for calling her out. We're not the ones with the problem. If they pretend like they don't see it for what it is, they're the ones with the problem. Now, we learned a phrase not long ago called revisionist history. Revisionist history. This is an example of it. The real reason Kate Middleton politely declined the Queen's unprecedented invitation to spend Christmas at Sandringham with the royal family. In 2006, the late Queen made an unprecedented move of inviting an unregistered girlfriend of for the first time, Prince William's partner, Kate Middleton. That is a lie. That is a lie. It's not revisionist history, it's a flat out lie. Meghan was the first quote unquote partner to be invited to spend Christmas at Sandringham. Meghan was the first. All of the papers said it at the time that this is unprecedented. This is the first time that's ever happened. And now they want us to believe that Queen Elizabeth was so taken by the woman she said was lazy. All of the reports at the time said that the Queen thought she was too lazy, that she should not consider marrying into the family until she finds work. And if you think that that's not the Queen, there was not one protest from Buckingham Palace, not one. At no point did Buckingham Palace say that the Queen was misquoted, that the Queen did not say that, because it was a message sent through the tabloids to Bucklebury, to the Middleton family. Get her off the yacht and out the club. Find work for her. I believe it to be true. I do. I believe it to be true. I believe that that family routinely leaks and briefs, especially to other family members and potential family members. You didn't hear anybody say to Meghan that she needs to work or she needs to find a life before she marries into that family. Lazy. And now they want to revise and rewrite and say that the Queen, who despised Kate Middleton. You see the look on the Queen's face there? You see that look on her face? Nicole Tannis, happy holidays to you too. It's because of this. It is because of this. The Queen invited Kate on a few occasions to work. And Kate repaid the honor by coming in there looking like she just left a hooker convention. She looked like she just left a hooker convention. You're invited to join the head of the Church of England, the supreme governor of the Church of England. The head of state invites you to accompany her, and you repay her by wearing this god-awful garish outfit. You see the look on her face? You see the look on the Queen's face? She's trying to divert her eyes so that she doesn't have to look at it. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. A state visit from the president of South Korea, and you emerge from the state Bentley like you just left a party. Now, inside of Buckingham Palace during the state visit, she changed outfits. She put on another red dress that was at a very tasteful length. And this may be the reason why Kate Middleton has not been invited to state dinners. I think this probably bothered Camilla more than anybody else. There is a war in the House of Windsor. You haven't seen Charles and William even close to each other, let alone speaking to each other. Kate and Camilla, zero contact. Zero contact. Camilla is definitely throwing her weight around. She doesn't have to hide in the shadows. Now she is calling the shots. Meanwhile, if we don't revise history, if we just, say it as it was, there's the Queen very happy in Meghan's company, laughing, smiling, telling stories. This is not the look that they wanted. They didn't want anybody to believe that the Queen could get along with that American woman. So photos like this are not shared. They just won't share that. They'll find the worst possible photos, and those are the ones that they use to make their case. The tabloids, that is. Panic at the palace. Panic at the palace. Suspicious unaliving, medical crisis, and nude photos leaked. I don't remember that one. William cracks under pressure with royal sidelined. Rogue relatives spilling secrets in TV payday. And so on and so on and so on. And there's Andrew and Epstein. And then over here on the right, Kate and kids secretly living with her mom. William admits to making a mistake. Shock decision changes monarchy forever. Inside kids' sweet bond with Granny Carol. So, Star Magazine last year, well, actually, was that early? No, that was earlier this year. And then Star Magazine this month. Now, remember, the Star is not a British tabloid. It's an American tabloid. They only have one issue per week. One issue per week. So they don't share the same level of deference with the royal family. As a matter of fact, I don't think they share much deference with the royal family. But one thing's for certain, it's not too often that you see the Sussexes on the cover. If they are, they're usually with the rest of them. And that's because there's not a lot to talk about the Sussexes. It really isn't. As they said, the British tabloids, they have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to make up stories about the Sussexes, stories that don't even make sense. But with the rest of that family, all they have to do is tell the truth. The truth is stranger than fiction. Now, there's a new rollout for Kate. You see there? Majesty. The quality royal magazine, Majesty. The Princess of Wales New Year. Kate is keening. Somebody is keening. And the HRM Camilla parody Twitter says she's planning on doing a couple days work this year. She is planning to do a couple days work this year. So I understand now. I understand. If Kate is planning to do a couple of days of work, that is worth an entire magazine article. It is. It is. And I shouldn't laugh. I should support her any way I can. If this means Kate is going to work, I should try to support her.
Times newspaper and magazine really has been given access to the inner workings of the British non-working royal family. You can see Kate on the cover. The magazine drops today. The Times are making the most of it. The article is completely sycophantic. I'll explain more shortly, but it does show us how petty almost every member of this family are. So let's start with the main bits. Why is Charles not speaking to Harry? Charles is not speaking to Harry because of Harry's ongoing case against the Home Office, the British government, for the lack of security. That is the only data point, the only fact that the article pulls out. How a father and a grandfather cannot speak to their son because of an ongoing court case, unless Charles knows it's going to release things that are not good about him, right, is beyond me. Harry and Andrew are called the Dukes of Hazzard. No real explanation, but why we can tag Harry in with the same moniker and in the same headline and with the same labeling as a internationally suspected child offender, i.e. Andrew, is completely beyond me. What else did we get? Must be nice for the Queen and Camilla, for the King and Camilla, to get rid of their stress, they went to swim in the sea. Not in the UK like the rest of us have to do, Samoa on Australia. That must have been lovely for them. Oh, what else is revealed? Meghan doesn't speak to Charles or Camilla. After some of the quite serious allegations against Charles, Camilla and Kate, could you blame Meghan for that? I would say absolutely not. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. That's about it. There's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of text. I think the main points we can pull out of it are they don't know how to deal with Andrew, and they've got no intention of dealing with Andrew in any meaningful manner. Charles is absolutely petty and has got no intention of seeing his son, his grandchildren, and his son's wife in the near future. They like swimming in the sea. Comments are open, guys. Have a brilliant Saturday.
Now, of course, that is Martin of the TikTok channel known as Ministry of Hacks. Ministry of Hacks. So if you want the daily word from him, you can make sure that you go to TikTok and find Ministry of Hacks. And of course, he's also on Twitter. But yeah, he stays on them and he calls them out. And I am very appreciative of that. I don't care so much about looks, but out of curiosity, did Kate have a stroke? Why is her mouth always askew? Is it what is that? Is it a thing like Sylvester Stallone or Mila? Oh, I don't know who that person is. Binta Magila? I'm curious, not hate. The mouth askew. That is something that they never explained. Now, in all honesty, there was a surgery when she was a child. Now, my usual pettiness, I say, that's because she always talking out the side of her mouth. If she stopped talking out the side of her mouth, then her mouth wouldn't be askew. But I'm not sure. They never did explain that. I just find it really interesting that both Will and Kate both have had rather serious surgery on their heads, where they literally had to open up their heads surgery. Well, Williams, he had a hairline fracture to the skull. And Kate, they won't say what it was. So it might be associated with that. I cannot be for certain. It might be some weird tick. You know, I don't know. I don't know. But I get you. No shade, just asking a question. But there's something there, and they are being very private about it. Let me see here. Is there no problem in England with using fake pictures? The more I know about the English press, the more I realize that they don't have ethics. No wonder they can't come into the U.S. Yeah. And they really shouldn't. They are trying to taint the world with that Fleet Street practice of tabloid journalism. And some of the best newspapers in the United States are being threatened by the tabloid type of journalists. There seems to be a great deal of British expats, British tabloid reporters that are writing and producing shows in the United States. And with them, they have brought this right wing agenda. And it's not making the country better, it's making the country worse. They're slowly turning our journalists into sarcastic, cruel, mean spirited people rather than back in the old days when some kid from a small town has grown up and they watch the civil rights movement. They want to go to the big town newspaper and write things to make the world a better place. That is the kind of journalism that I love, is when you have these kids that have gone to university, even though they come from a small town where there may be only one or two Black families, they have done some amazing work in the industry. And all of that is being picked apart daily by those Murdoch type of people. The Daily Mail in the United States, it has taken root. It has taken root and it's changing the way people consume news. When I saw that guy, let's see here. By the way, thank you so much. Let me see. Did you see Bruce Lee's film? Okay, well. No, I didn't see it. But thank you so much for the super chat. Lindsay Peterson, did I say that? Yes, I did. Thank you again. All right. I'm losing my place here. But yeah, so anyway, I'm just gonna continue. At the Christmas luncheon, we noticed that Penny Natchbull was there. In case you're not familiar, Penny Natchbull is the woman behind the Queen that is a friend and confidant, or was a friend and confidant of Prince Philip. No explanation has ever been really given, but Penny Natchbull was at Philip's funeral. Chances are Penny Natchbull inherited some money from Philip. So if you remember the episode of The Crown where the Queen met Penny Natchbull and she said, well, you should probably come to church with me Sunday so that people won't get the wrong idea about how you fit into the family. And so, as you can see, the Queen is just absolutely thrilled to have Penny Natchbull there. And Philip, he doesn't look guilty at all, does he? And as for Penny Natchbull, well, she's as for Penny Natchbull, as you can see, she is just as calm, cool, and collected. Just one big happy, whatever they are to each other, right? Whatever they are to each other, they are just one big something. I don't even know what that something is, but they are close. They're very close. And the Queen, such a loving, tolerant woman, to accept this circumstance with nothing but good cheer. I mean, look at her face. Don't you see all that good cheer? Don't you see how pleased she is that everybody understands that there's nothing to see here? Right? So I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad that Penny Natchbull and Philip found each other for whatever they found each other for, and that the Queen has accepted Penny Natchbull into the family with great cheer and constant support. Don't she look supportive? Yeah, she looks very supportive. She doesn't look bereaved or troubled in any way. Yeah. I mean, a person who didn't know better would think that she was with one of her own children. She looked so pleased. Oh, God. There she is. There she is. Blackamoor. Blackamoor Kent. Yes, the Rent-a-Kent. The Rent-a-Kents. Princess Michael breaks both wrists in shocking accident at Kensington Palace. Well, as I said yesterday, Princess Michael of Kent is recovering well. There she is on the right, giving thumbs ups, even though both her wrists are broken and who knows what else. She was able to have someone place the tiara on her head, and she's doing just fine. Isn't that something? You go to Buckingham Palace, you walk through there the same as you did back in 2018 when you wore that Blackamoor brooch, not suspecting that you would have to be carried out, not suspecting that you would end up on all fours with 2 broken wrists. Yeah. I wonder if those wrists were weakened by all of the pieces of silver that she's collected over the years. 30 pieces here, 30 pieces of silver there. I wonder if that's what weakened her wrist. Or did she weaken her wrist because of feeding those 2 sheeps that she purchased? Or who knows how she did that? Anyway, I'm sure it was just an accident. There on the right, Denial reveals today that the Daily Mail, and by the way, thank you, Muriel, for finding these. In other words, Prince Michael was having an affair, allegedly. He denies it. Take a look on the right. Princess Pushy. Remember I told you, Princess Michael of Kent is the real Princess Pushy. Princess Pushy, back in 2012, Princess Pushy's grief as Toy Boy is eliminated. Yeah. Isn't that something? Her toy boy was from Russia. And, well, anyway, from Russia with Love. It seems as though the Kents, Prince Michael, Princess Michael, it seemed like they always have some type of relations in Russia. It seems like they were there for Russia. Yeah. Suzette Bailey, let me see. The firm ages women prematurely. The men are corrupt, petty, selfish, vindictive, spineless. And oh, why did I do this? Yeah, they don't really want change. They don't want change, not even for the better. Well, I love that red coat, though. That red coat is happening. And another thing that you may not have known about Princess Michael of Kent, again, thank you, Muriel, for finding these. Princess Michael of Kent told Black diners to go back to the colonies. Racist much? I think so. She was visiting New York some years ago, and as the story goes, there were some Black men that worked on Wall Street. I believe it was Wall Street or the financial district somewhere. And they were having a lunch, having a good time. And Princess Michael of Kent felt as though she wasn't getting enough attention, or she just didn't like to see Black folks enjoying themselves. And so she confronted this table full of African descent or possibly African American men. And there was some words exchanged, and she told them to go back to the colonies. Now, there's no way that there was anything but racism attached to that. Most of what used to be the colonies are people of color. So that was her way of saying, get back in your place, lower your voices, divert your eyes away from me. I am superior in every way. That's what she was trying to tell them. And how dare you have a good time in my presence? And then, of course, the sheeps that she owned. She had 2 black sheeps on her country estate. You know, the one that they got so broke they had to sell it. That country estate. They were so poor they had to sell their country house. Well, anyway, she was raising some sheeps. And because they were black, she thought it was clever to call them Venus and Serena. Interesting. But the ancestors had the last word. And it has been one thing after the other in that Kent household. Now, Prince Michael is not the Duke of Kent. That's his older brother. And Princess Michael, her name is not Michael, it's Maria. But as any royal princess, she's entitled to use the name of her husband, like Princess Henry of Sussex, or, you know, that kind of way. But she wants to make sure that everybody knows that she's a princess. So she insists that people call her Princess Michael. But on her own, she was not royal. She may have had some aristocratic connections, but she was not royal. And the ancestors, as you can see, are right there behind her, making sure that she won't be able to wipe her behind or count money or even pick her nose for the next, 2 months. She won't be able to even open up a jar of pickles for the next 2 months. She won't be able to put on her lashes. There's so many things she won't be able to do for the next 2 months while her wrists are healing. How unfortunate. Rebecca English, as the royal cousins touchingly support William, why Harry and Meghan are the reason they'll now never have a chance of a bigger role. Oh, blame it on Harry and Meghan. So much has been said about family disunity in recent years that it's sometimes easy to forget how well our senior royals get on with each other. How well our senior royals get on with each other? They are remarkably close, in fact. Standing side by side at the Buckingham Palace garden party yesterday, Prince William and his cousins added a welcome pop of youthful glamour, now seen in institution for not seen in institution for a while. How touching that the future king, knowing he would be without his wife at his side, could call Zara, cha-ching, Peter, cha-ching, Beatrice, cha-ching, and Eugenie, cha-ching, for support. I don't know why I added that cha-ching in there. When I got to Zara, I was just like, cha-ching. Because, you can't call Zara and Peter unless you got some money. That was even kind of bad for me. That was kind of bad. Now, do they look like they're glad to be there? What was that she just said? They're remarkably close. How well they get along. Really? Really? That was an order. That was an order. And the order likely came from Buckingham Palace. That is an order. You will be at that garden party. All hands on deck. If I recall, their presence was mandatory. You see, in that family, they still follow directions. They still follow directions. And Beatrice and Eugenie had no choice but to be there. They did not want to be there. They were forced to be there by any means necessary. And the reason why they had to be there is because Harry had welcomed the Spencers, and they wanted to make sure that William is seen as the pride of the family, not Harry. So that was deliberate. That was all calculated to give the maximum amount of youth and love and family togetherness. Now, we're just about done, you guys. 2025, as we approach 2025, I think these people speak for all of us. This is how we are going to approach the new year. We're all going to hide behind a barrier. And before we walk into the future, we're going to take a broom and just kind of push that door open and see what jumps out at us. I think this is all of us New Year's Eve, but let's hope that next year is going to be amazing. Let's hope that next year is going to be amazing. And so I'll give you a last word for today. Don't you dare shrink yourself for someone else's comfort. Do not become small for people who refuse to grow. Do not become small for people who refuse to grow. And with that, I am done. Thank you all very much. I did not know that we were going to be on for 3 hours tonight, but thank you all for your input. Thank you for your new memberships. I think we covered a lot, and we learned a lot from each other, which is always a good thing. And of course, we are going to pray for the Sussexes, our families, and all our loved ones. And we'll do this again tomorrow. Hopefully it won't be 3 hours. Hopefully it won't be so late, but we'll be here. So for those of you, all 1,100 of you that stayed here to the end, thank you very much. And as always, thank you for trusting me to do this work. I am deeply, deeply honored by that. If there's anything that motivates me, it is the love and support and the trust that I receive from the Sussex Squad. And I value that more than all other things in this world. So thank you. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Could not do it without the Mod Squad. And don't forget, we're going to have a bit of a marathon on New Year's Eve, starting 11:30 Eastern Time, East Coast. And we're going to stay on until we sing Happy New Year or yell Happy New Year for the West Coast. And before someone say it, no, we're not going to wait for Hawaii. Hawaii is in the middle of the ocean. They're used to taking care of themselves. Okay, I'm going to go and rest my voice. Thank you. God bless. And I think I'm going to watch 688 tonight. I'm going to make a smoothie. and I'm going to watch the 6888. So that way I can do a review of it with you all. So if you can watch 6888 tonight or tomorrow, or you've seen it already, be prepared to talk about it. Okay? Oh, sure. I'll grab that. I will grab that. By the way, I did receive some things that I have not picked up yet, but I will try to do that before Christmas Day. Okay, the mailing address is here, and I will make sure that I add it to the community tab. It's actually in the community tab now, but oh, by the way, thank you very much, Lydia Washington. And I will take that away so it'll be easier for you to see it. There you go. What else I need to do? I guess that's it. All right. I got that done. And oh, I'm going to put the mailing address on the community tab. Okay, I'll do that really fast. All right, so we're done. Thank you all very much. I will see you all tomorrow or later today, whichever comes first. There, done. Done, done, done. All right. Okay, it has been a long day, so I am going to go and rest my voice. If I told you about today, you would find it very difficult to believe it, but it has been quite the day. So I'll tell you about it at some point. Okay. And let's see, what should we close with today? I think the lady from the islands. I love the lady from the islands. So let's close with that. No, not the lady from the islands. Let me think. Yeah, island lady. I'll go with that. Go with my first thought. All right, good night.
And I love Prince Harry, and Prince Harry should be king. He should be king. Prince Harry, not William. William and all of them in there, Camilla is the wicked witch of the devil himself, because she is part of why Princess Diana is not here. I do not like them. I am from the islands, and we don't need them in the Caribbean. Get lost. Demolish the monarchy. This is 2023, okay? And I will support Harry 100%. I do feel for him. Yes, I do. And everything in the book is the truth. And Charles is the monster, not Harry. Harry is no monster, not Meghan. He's bringing the story out right now. They are evil people. They are not nice. Behind the wall, we all are one human being, and behind that wall there are no difference with me and you and any other Brits. Give the people back the money. They are just welfare recipients living off the taxpayers of the British people, and the British people are stupid supporting that nonsense monarchy. It is nothing. It's just a title. It means nothing. A title. I'm angry at them.